Today is Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015, and we are interviewing Mike Shepard at the ISL Library. Mike is 69 years old, having been born on November 1st, 1945. My name is Helen, and I will be the interviewer. Cindy Weibel will be the court reporter for this interview. First, Mike, thank you again for your service. We do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Our first question, when and where were you born?
Keokuk, Iowa, 1945.
Okay. And who were your parents and what were their occupations?
Doyle Shepard was my father. He was an accountant. And my mother, Pat Shepard, was a housewife.
And did you have siblings?
Two sisters.
Two sisters? Did they serve in the military as well?
No.
Did your father serve in the military?
Yeah, he was in the Navy in World War II.
Oh, okay. And what were you doing before you entered the service?
I was a student at Springfield College in Illinois.
Is that here in Springfield?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, in your early days of the service, you served in what branch of the military?
U.S. Air Force.
Okay. And what war did you serve in?
Vietnam.
What was the highest rank that you achieved?
Sergeant.
Sergeant. And did you enlist or were you drafted?
I enlisted.
You enlisted. If you enlisted, why did you choose that specific branch of the service?
Well, I was hoping to avoid the infantry in Vietnam, so I chose the Air Force.
Did you see what battle with that?
Yeah, eventually I became a war correspondent for Armed Forces Radio, and I was in some battles, yeah.
Okay. And what do you recall about your first days in the service?
How mean the drill sergeants were.
They were brutal, huh?
Yeah, they were pretty mean.
Well, I guess that tells us how you feel about them. Where were you stationed for boot camp?
Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay. And after training, did you get a leave?
Yeah, I had a short leave, and then I went to Dyess Air Force Base in Abilene, Texas, and worked as a clerk typist.
Do you recall any of your instructors?
No.
No? Did you receive any kind of specialized training? And if so,
Yeah, when I was a clerk typist, I cross-trained into Armed Forces Journalism School at Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indianapolis, an Army school. And out of a class of 50, I was the only one with orders for Vietnam.
oh my. How did you get that honor?
I don't know, that's just the way the chips fell.
Wow. Was it hard to adapt to military life?
Yeah, a little bit.
Mainly what? The food or the
Discipline,
lifestyle?
getting up early.
And when you first started, what was your job assignment?
Clerk typist.
Clerk typist. Okay. You served in Vietnam. Do you remember when you arrived and what were your thoughts when you arrived in that country?
It was hot and wet.
Well, do you have any other certain memories of that experience?
No, not really. That was basically what I experienced was the heat. And it was tropical, of course, and so it was new to me being from the Midwest.
Were you on the front lines?
Occasionally I was as a reporter.
And you apparently then you saw combat then.
Yeah, primarily at Khe Sanh, during the siege of Khe Sanh in 1968. Yeah, I was under fire there.
So you witnessed casualties and
Yeah.
a lot of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you develop any friendships when you were in the service? And
Oh,
are you
yeah.
still in touch with these folks?
I'm in touch occasionally with one or two guys.
Mm-hmm. And how do you stay in touch? Do you go to reunions or
Oh,
correspondence? Or?
email and telephone, and once in a while I visit.
Mm-hmm. Were you awarded any medals or citations?
The Air Medal. That you get that for flying over enemy territory.
Oh, okay.
So many flights you qualify for the Air Medal.
Do you remember how many flights?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember who gave you the medals or citations?
Well, the base commander at Da Nang
Mm-hmm.
Air Base.
Was there a ceremony or just?
Yeah, a little bit of a ceremony. Yeah.
Oh, that made it nice then.
Yeah.
Okay. Where were you at when the war ended?
At Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when the war ended, or my participation in it?
When the war ended.
Oh, when the war ended in 1975, I was a student at Southern Illinois University in Carbondale on the GI Bill.
Oh, okay. How did you return home?
Flew
You flew
on
home.
a jet airliner, commercial jet.
Did you have family members there? And
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Anyone else from the community or just family?
Pardon?
Anyone from the community or just family?
Family.
Okay. Did you have trouble readjusting to your civilian life?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. How long did it take you to?
Probably about 25 years.
Oh, really? Excuse me. Are you a member of any veterans organization?
No, I'm not.
You're not. And what have you been participating in since separating from the military?
Well, I graduated from Sangamon State University after transferring from Southern Illinois University, and I started working with state government after I graduated from Sangamon State,
Mm-hmm.
and I eventually retired from state government, and since then I've written 5 books, and primarily about Southeast Asia, and I've written 3 articles for Vietnam Magazine.
Mm-hmm. Is that a current magazine?
Yeah.
When you were in the service, did you have anything that you carried for good luck?
Oh, a friend of mine's mom gave me a rosary.
Mm-hmm. Do you still have that?
I know I misplaced it.
Oh, yeah. When you were serving in Vietnam, did you have plenty of supplies and food?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you get to go on leave for that?
Yeah, I went to Sydney, Australia.
Oh.
On an R&R.
Mm-hmm. What was the food like over there?
It was pretty good in the chow halls, but sometimes you had to eat sea rations.
Mm-hmm.
By and large, it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Now, what exactly are sea rations?
They're canned little boxes of canned foods that you get to
Mm-hmm.
eat.
Not exactly mom's cooking, is
No.
it? What kind of entertainment did you guys do over there?
A lot of drinking.
Were you able to get beer from home, or you had to buy it over there?
No, it was there over there.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of it.
Yeah. Does it taste different from that alcohol here?
No.
No, still the same.
It was American beer.
Oh, okay.
But it was shipped to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Did you have any entertainers?
Oh yeah, a lot of bands in the clubs. You had an airmen's club, and an NCO club, and an officers club on most bases, and they had bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you ever get to see Bob Hope?
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was that? On a big ship or something?
No, at Cameron Bay,
Mm-hmm.
big air base and port.
Mm-hmm. What, did he have other entertainers with him?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't remember who they were though.
Yeah.
Joy Heatherton, I think, was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Could you spell that bay for me?
The base,
The name of the base?
Cameron Bay, CAMRANH Bay.
Bay. Thank you.
What did you do when you were on leave?
Drink.
Well, did you get to tour any of the towns or anything?
Oh yeah, I got around Sydney quite a bit and
Mm-hmm.
met some Australian people that showed me around a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Are you still in touch with any of those folks?
No, I'm not.
No. Did you do any other travel outside of Australia?
Yeah, I went to Penang, which was a little island off the coast of Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
I went there for an R&R also.
How long were you there?
7 days.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Now, do you recall what the day your service ended, where you were at when they?
Yeah, I was in Texas, Shepherd Air Force Base, Wichita Falls, Texas.
Okay. And were there others from the military that were discharged with you on the same day?
No.
Just you got to go home, huh?
Yeah.
And what did you do in the days and the weeks after your service?
What's that?
What did you do at the days and the weeks after you?
Well, I went to college on the GI Bill at
Mhm.
Southern Illinois University in Carbondale.
Did you go into college right away?
Well, I was in junior college before I went into the service. Then when I got out of the service, I went to Southern Illinois University at Carbondale on the GI Bill.
Okay. How do you think the military experiences have affected your life? Yeah.
Well, I look back and it was a positive experience, except for the fact that it was a war.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of interesting experiences
Mm-hmm.
and met a lot of people from all over the world, and that was enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know those were turbulent times, and
Yeah.
so. Did you have any special life lessons that you've learned from the service?
I can't think of any.
Do you have any special event that happened while you were stationed in Vietnam that stands out?
Yeah, when I was sent to Khe Sanh to report on the siege there, we landed in a C-130, and as I looked out the windows, there were C-130 cargo planes blown up along the airstrip. And I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if our plane's going to be next to get blown up.
Mm.
But when we landed, the pilot said, hit the deck running, boys, because we're under fire. So he just dropped the rear cargo door and he said, run for bunkers.
Mm-hmm.
So I got off the plane and I was running for a bunker because we were under a mortar attack. And the very first Marine that I encountered, I went to high school with.
Oh my gosh, small world.
Yeah, and I had a photographer with me, traveling with me as a team of correspondents. And I told him about the situation, about encountering this guy that I'd gone to high school with. So after the mortar attack, we met again, and the photographer took a picture of us, and it was in the State Journal Register in Springfield after that.
Wow, that's neat. Do you have any other experiences that you can think of?
Well, I flew in a bombing mission over Dak To in a old World War II vintage fighter bomber in a dive bombing mission, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the most interesting time was at Khe Sanh.
Mm-hmm. Did you lose any close friends while you?
Yeah, mostly from Springfield.
Mhm.
guys that were killed in Vietnam.
That had to be hard.
Yeah.
Describe the plane that you said you were in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, did you fly these or did you work on
No, I
them?
flew in them
Okay. What,
on missions to go for reporting missions.
what did these planes look like? I'm not familiar with the
Well,
planes.
C-130 is a big cargo plane. It's a 4-engine propeller-driven cargo plane,
Mhm.
and the fighter plane I flew in was a old World War II Navy plane.
Mhm. Did they hold a lot of soldiers?
The cargo planes, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, the cargo plane. And I flew in a lot of reconnaissance missions in Piper Cubs too. So,
Now, what are those?
well, it's a small plane called the Bergdahl,
Mhm.
and it's used to pinpoint enemy targets, and then the pilot calls in airstrikes. And so I flew in a lot of those reconnaissance missions.
Mhm. Now, what is a
Reconnaissance,
Mhm.
scouting out enemy targets.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um, did you make any friends with the people over there?
Oh yeah,
Mhm. Yeah. Have you been back to Vietnam since?
no, I haven't.
No. Is that something you like to do?
Not particularly, no.
Mhm.
I'd like to go back to Australia.
Well, yeah, that would be nice. So, now were you on any boats or anything?
No,
Mhm.
no.
Now, you hear a lot about the Agent Orange and things like that. Were you exposed to any of that?
No, I flew over territory that had been defoliated by Agent Orange, so I could see it from the air.
Mm-hmm. And what did that look like?
Well, it was just all the foliage was dead.
Mm-hmm.
All the trees had died, so
Mhm.
wherever it was sprayed.
So this Agent Orange, to me, I'm not familiar with it, but when I think of Agent Orange, I think of orange, something, an orange substance. Is that what it looked like?
I don't know. I don't know what it looks like,
Mhm.
really.
So you didn't
It's
get to see
it's
it.
a herbicide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The music and stuff during that time frame, where did you get to listen to much of that music while you were over there?
Yeah, on Armed Forces Radio,
Mm-hmm.
they had disc jockeys.
Mm-hmm. Did they play a lot of the music that was popular during that time?
Yeah.
Mhm. Now I know from my dad being in the service, they have their own unique language and stuff. Do you recall anything that was popular that was related to your branch of the service?
Keep your head down.
Good advice. um, any others that you can recall?
No, not really.
Mhm.
Not that could be published.
I understand. um, how did your military service impact your feelings about war and the military in general?
Well, it just made me realize how horrible war is.
Mhm. Yeah, and that was, I believe, the longest war that we had ever been in.
Yeah.
So, what message would you like to leave for future generations who might listen to this interview?
Well, try to avoid war at all costs. Try to negotiate and through diplomacy settle our differences to
Mhm.
avoid war.
Yeah, good advice. Do you have any other memories that you'd like to share?
Well, let's see. I did fly in what they call Puff the Magic Dragon, which was an old World War II airplane, also a DC-3. Flew in that. It had machine guns mounted in the windows, and at night we'd fly over enemy territory to support ground troops. And to illuminate the target, we threw out parachutes with flares on attached to the parachute. So instead of just going along for the ride, they made me kick out these parachutes out the door at night. So I did participate in some attack situations.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said you were a reporter?
Yeah.
Okay. What things did you report? I mean, was it strictly the war, or did you cover like human interest or anything like
No, it
that?
was primarily the war. One of my main responsibilities was to do hometowner interviews.
Mm-hmm.
That is to interview troops or military personnel about what their mission was in Vietnam and have it sent to radio stations back in their hometowns.
Mm-hmm. That was nice, I bet, for the folks to hear back home.
Yeah, hometowners.
Mm-hmm. Any other events that you covered? Or?
Well, covered the Battle of Loch Ninh, Ashaw Valley, the Tet Offensive, did what they call actualities
Mm-hmm.
on the combat situation of that in those particular battles.
Okay.
I'm sorry, could you spell those two for me?
Actualities?
No,
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
Loch Ninh.
Yeah, Loch Ninh, LOCNINH,
Okay,
and Ashaw Valley is A space SHAU Valley.
thank you.
Now, you told me earlier that you're a writer. The books that you have published now deal with some of the Vietnam War?
Yeah, well, basically in general the Vietnam War, yeah, but and in Southeast Asia in general too. The first book's about is a fiction novel about my historic fiction novel about my experiences in Vietnam as a war reporter. And then the second book is about the anti-Vietnam War movement in Carbondale, Illinois during the war. And the third one is about a fictitious woman who leads an insurgency against Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia.
I'm sorry, against who? She leads the insurgency against.
Khmer Rouge,
Yes.
KMERROUGE.
Thank you.
And then the next book's about a fictitious character who was born in Laos, the son of an American mercenary and a Laotian woman, and it's about his life and how he ends up with the U.S. Navy SEALs in hunting down Osama bin Laden. And then the last book that just came out is a collection of short stories and poems.
Is that related? Excuse me. Is that related to the war as well?
Some stories are, some aren't.
Mm-hmm. What would you have to say is your favorite book that you have published?
I'd say the first one about my experiences in Vietnam as a war reporter.
Mm-hmm. What is the title of that one?
Like Another Lifetime in Another World.
Okay. We'll give you a plug there.
Okay. Yeah.
But when you first left home, how did your mother and father relate to you leaving? Were they extremely upset because?
No, we were kind of estranged. My mother had left town, so she wasn't around when I went to Vietnam. And my father, well, being a veteran himself, he didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Your sisters, did they accept the fact that you were going to the service as well?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other experiences that you'd like to share with us?
Can't think of any.
What would you say was the worst battle that you saw?
Quezon.
And
That's Khesanh.
Yes, okay, do that again.
Khesanh.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
were there a lot of casualties with that one?
Oh, yeah.
And did it just go on for a day or?
No, it was several months,
Oh, really?
several weeks,
Okay.
couple months, 2 or 3 months.
So you guys
Well,
were,
actually, several months, actually, yeah.
Mhm. You were just stationed in one spot? Is that how that works or?
Yeah,
Okay. And then what, the enemy all around you or?
yeah. We were surrounded by the enemy.
Mhm. And were they able to get fresh troops into you and?
Yeah,
And food and,
yeah.
okay. Because I'm trying to visualize this.
But we ate sea rations at Quezon.
Mm-hmm. So, did you have a certain person that would cook while you were there?
No.
No, everyone took part in that.
Oh, they had in the chow halls in the bases at the base in the bases there were chow halls. They had cooks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, can you explain during this battle? I mean, what protected you from the gunfire and stuff?
Bunkers
Okay,
and trenches.
are those things that you constructed yourself, or?
Well, the Marines constructed them.
Mm-hmm.
Then you wore a flak jacket and a helmet.
Mm-hmm. Now you say the Marines constructed it.
Yeah.
So you weren't. There were other branches of the military in there as well. Is that
Yeah,
okay.
but it's primarily Marines.
Okay. All right. What, the Army close by as well too?
No, it was just Marines.
Okay. And these bunkers, what were they constructed from?
Sandbags.
Oh. And that offered protection?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What kind of weapons did they use over there?
What, the Americans?
Mm-hmm.
M16 primarily.
Okay. Is that the ones with a row of bullets and it goes? You can tell I'm not a
Well,
gun person.
we had M16s, M60s, grenade launchers, pistols, of course, bombs and napalm,
Mm-hmm.
artillery, mortars, rockets.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you left, did you get to keep any of your gear or anything like your helmet or?
No,
No. So I guess that was recycled onto the next
yeah.
person.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pick up any other souvenirs? You know.
Yeah, I had a combat knife that was stolen from me. Somebody stole it, so that was about all I brought back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As far as the clothing, the shoes and stuff, the boots, were those hard to walk in?
No,
No, they were comfortable.
yeah.
Did they tell you to change your socks a lot, like I saw in Forrest Gump? Because the dampness there, did they?
Well, the guys who were out in the field had problems with their feet,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't. I wasn't out. I wasn't in the jungle or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have any other things that you'd like to share? I mean,
No, I can't think of anything.
yeah. The people there that you did get to know, the Vietnamese, were they warm and accepting?
Yeah, most of them. Some weren't.
Uh-huh.
The Viet Cong sure weren't.
No, I bet not. Were they, how did they accept you? I mean, did they communicated with you and did they offer food or anything like that? Or?
No,
No.
just some of the hooches you lived in, you had a Vietnamese housemaid,
Mm-hmm.
hooch maid, that cleaned up the place. She
Mhm.
worked for the U.S. government, so you'd meet Vietnamese through that process.
Okay. What'd you call a hooch house?
A hooch,
Okay, what is that?
well, it's like a shack that you lived in.
Okay, and is that the term that you guys gave it, or is that a
No, that's
military?
just what it was called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, if you have nothing else,
No, I don't have much to add, really.
okay. Well, again, I do thank you for your service to our country,
Okay, thank you.
and it's because of people like you that we have this country, and we're able to live free and be proud and strong.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Mike.
Uh-huh.